My name is Kurt Borger. I'm the library director at the Riverview Public Library. And today we are interviewing longtime Riverview resident, John George Radu. However, you say something different in Romanian. How do you say it?
Radu.
Yeah, there we go. Okay. That is how you say it in Romanian. Why don't we just start a little bit with that, John? Your parents, what did your parents do? And well, first...
to begin with, they lived in Romania. They were farmers.
They were farmers.
My wife lived in Bukovina. My dad lived in Bucharest.
Okay.
And they got I don't know. I seen a picture of their wedding, and behind them, the guy got a rifle over his head.
Mm-hmm.
It sounds like it might have been a shotgun wedding or something. I don't know.
Oh.
You know, but in the old country, they made plans long before anyone wanted to get married.
Right,
You know,
like
the father
arranged
and the mother
marriages. Right.
sets it up with the other father and mother, and then their daughter and their son-in-law to get together and they get married.
Mm-hmm.
But he didn't get married till he got to Saskatchewan in Canada. When they came over from Europe, they went to Canada. And that's where my brothers and sisters were born.
How many brothers and
I
sisters?
had
do
two
you have?
brothers, Tom and Nick, and I had a sister, Helen. They're all gone. My mother and dad's gone.
Where were you in the sibling order? Were you the oldest?
I was the youngest.
You were the youngest.
They moved to the United States and I was born.
Oh, okay, you hadn't been born yet.
I was born in the United States.
But your brothers and sisters were born in
Canadian.
Romania. Oh, they were born in Canada.
Right,
Okay,
right.
what brought your parents to Detroit?
Well, I guess the auto industry, I imagine, because you can get any work. There were farmers up there, and I guess the winters there were pretty tough. So I guess he decided to pull stakes and go to the U.S. and work in the auto industry.
Where did he work?
He worked at Fisher Body.
And what did your mother do?
Well, she got a job as a maid in the Commonwealth State Bank, and from there she went to the Brook Cadillac Hotel as a maid. And that's what she did. Not very much during the Depression, but
Mm-hmm.
it served.
Were you born in Detroit?
Yep,
When were you born?
1924.
What was the day?
I don't know the day, but it was 1924.
Okay, fair enough.
January 4th.
I don't even remember the day.
Oh, it's okay. Well, your bio says January 4th, yes. Okay,
No.
what high school did you go to?
I went to Pershing.
Pershing High School.
Yeah.
Now, according to your bio, you
I quit school and signed up.
you enlisted. Now,
Yeah.
why did you enlist?
I wanted to get into the war.
Why?
I wanted to help the country.
What did your parents think of you
Well, my
enlisting?
dad and they both couldn't speak English, so they were surprised to think that I would want to do that.
Why were they surprised?
Well, you know, I was so young.
Mm-hmm.
I must have been about 18, I guess.
Did you explain to them if you enlisted, you probably would have been drafted? You probably would have been drafted
I
anyway.
probably would have been drafted anyway.
Mm-hmm.
But I wanted to join. I wanted to get in the service. I wanted to get in.
Did your brothers join the service at the
Neither one of
time?
them could get in.
Why?
Well, one had a bad eye. He spilled some acid, automobile acid in his eye,
Okay.
and the other one had a bad hip.
Okay.
So my one brother joined the Navy to work on the Great Lakes. So he was a merchant marine. That's what he did. The other one went to California.
You enlisted in the Army,
Right.
and you enlisted in Detroit, right?
Yeah.
And
They
you
took
were-
all my clothes and they said they were gonna give it to the good poor.
Oh,
My shoes and my shirt and pants, all of that.
where did you? After you enlisted, where did you go?
It was Fort Custer. Then I
In
went to
Michigan,
Camp Forest,
right.
Tennessee. Then I went to Camp Rock, Alabama. Then I went to Fort Benning. Then I went to Fort Bragg, and then I went out to California, Camp Hahn. I came back this way, and I thought I was going to go to North Africa,
Mm-hmm.
you know, because they were fighting in North Africa. But as it was, they put me in the engineers, and I was down to Camp Rock for a while. And then they come up with a big list. They wanted paratroopers, and I signed it. And next thing I knew, I was on a train going to Fort Benning, Georgia.
Fort Benning. Okay, so when you enlisted, you didn't even know you were going to be in the airborne then?
Oh,
yeah?
no.
No. Okay.
I just enlisted,
Okay.
you know.
So what I'm trying to get at is where after you enlisted, you went to all these places before you went to Fort Benning.
Oh, yeah.
So what did you do before you joined the airborne?
I was in school. I was in high school.
Oh no. It's okay. Okay. You enlist,
Yeah.
right? Okay, but you're not you don't immediately go to the 82nd Airborne.
Oh, no,
correct?
no.
Okay, well, from the time you enlist, and when you sign that paper to be in the Airborne, what did you do? Did you go to some kind of basic training?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, was that at Fort Custer or was that somewhere else? Or was that in Tennessee, like you mentioned?
No, it was on in Camp Rucker initially.
Where's that?
That's in Alabama.
That's in Alabama, okay.
And then from there, we went over to Benning.
Okay, and Fort Benning is where you had the paratrooper training?
Oh, yeah.
Now, did you have any idea what you were getting into when you signed up for the paratrooper training?
All I thought was, I'm gonna look pretty sharp in those boots and that, and I was looking at that part of it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I had no idea really what it was all about.
Oh, you had no idea?
Oh, no.
You
But
didn't have any...
I knew they were gonna be jumping out of airplanes or something, and
Yeah.
I thought that would be cool.
Oh,
I've never done that in my life. I thought I could do that, I think. You know, as a kid, I only weighed about 150 pounds. So
Mm-hmm. Did they have any, well, obviously they had special training for the, with the parachute and all that kind of stuff, but did they have any special
skills,
qualifications or that kind of thing, or were they just taking any volunteers?
They were trying to get as many as they could, because I guess they were getting ready for Normandy. I mean, we didn't know that though. You know, and they're still fighting in Italy. What's the matter?
Just holding your hand.
Okay, I'm sorry.
It's okay. So you did the basic training in Alabama. What was that like? Well, first let me ask you. What a lot of veterans, I found that they have a similar experience. Was this the first time you'd been out of the state when you joined the military?
Oh yeah.
It was.
Yeah, I didn't travel much of anything.
And you go to Alabama for basic training. What was the basic training experience for you like?
Well, a lot of it was marching and discipline and calisthenics and stuff of that nature.
Were you in pretty good shape when you joined?
I was in good shape. I was playing football in high school,
Mm-hmm.
so I thought I was in pretty good shape. I only weighed 150 pounds.
What?
That was ideal for the paratroopers.
Right. Was the physical training, so it wasn't a problem for you? You didn't?
Oh no, I handled it without too much trouble.
Did you find the Army life easy? Did you handle the discipline well?
Oh, yeah, I did, but I was a private, PVT. I didn't get the PFC till after I was wounded,
Mm-hmm.
you know, but...
Okay, you go to Fort Benning for the paratrooper training. Tell us a little bit about that. What do you learn? I mean, and it's kind of obvious what you're going to learn, but maybe give us some details about it.
You jump out of a tower.
Mm-hmm.
From that, you get in a 2.5-ton truck and they take you down the road and you jump off backwards, you know, in order to find out how you're going to fall or roll.
Mm-hmm.
And then you go and they take you out and they fly you out about 50 miles away from camp and you jump out and you got to walk back.
Mm-hmm.
And you got to use a lensatic compass to find your way back because you're going across country. And if you can do that, well, they'll give you some credits.
Credits? What do you mean?
Well, they'll give you some plus points. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I'd always watch and see this one guy, Chuck Simic, who was a lot older than me, and every time he did something, if he could do it, I figured I could do it, because I was a lot younger than he was, and I see him doing it, so I just followed in the steps, and we managed to get by real good. I didn't like them hikes though. Them 100-mile hikes were too tough.
Was that the first time? Was it your first time in an airplane?
Oh yeah, I never flew anywhere.
Mm-hmm. Did that scare you at all? Was any of this training scary? Because not everybody flew in airplanes. That was kind of a rarity. And you're jumping out of an airplane, which most servicemen didn't do during World War II.
Why would you leave a good airplane?
Say that again?
Why would you leave a good airplane?
Indeed. So, but I'm asking you, what were your emotions? Were you scared?
Oh yeah, I was frightened.
Yeah.
I didn't know what was going to happen. Would it work? You know, would the parachute open when I jumped? You know, you had to fold your own chutes in a folding thing. The tail was as long as this, and you stretch your parachute out, and you just lobbed it over so many times, and you tucked it in a pack. And the little parachute, when they pull out, they pull the other parachute.
You mean the safety parachute?
No.
Okay.
Initially, when the static line and hook your parachute,
right.
There's a little parachute that came out. When that came out, it pulled a big parachute out. And then when you were falling down, you look up and you could see the silk over your head.
Mm-hmm.
And when we jumped to Normandy, I could see the bullets going through the silk. That scared the hell out of me.
Well, I would imagine we'll get there in a second.
Oh, well, whatever.
After your training at Fort Benning, okay, you joined the service in 43. You get your paratrooper certificate. I'm guessing in probably 43, 44, early 44. And then from there you probably go to England, I'm guessing.
Well, we went to Glasgow.
Okay, well in Scotland, right?
Yeah,
Okay,
we landed in Scotland.
Okay. Now, did you fly there, or did
By
you?
boat.
You went by ship. Okay.
Yeah, we went on a Liberty ship. Kaiser's Liberty boats.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we went across the ocean on that.
Was that your first time seeing an ocean?
Oh yeah.
Do you remember what
It was
what
nice.
that was like?
It was neat.
It was neat, interesting.
You had to eat standing up though. The ship you were on had long bars wherever you were at. You grabbed the hold of the bar and make sure you wouldn't slide down.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because the boat's going all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to avoid the submarines. But you had to pull outward duty for the Navy. They have Navy personnel and Army personnel both using their eyes. You know, and a couple of times I went up on the top there to help one of these sailors take these glasses and keep an eye out on the horizon.
Mm-hmm.
That was kind of neat. And
So you stood watch in essence.
I
on the
stood
ship.
watch, yeah. You know, for a few hours or something, and then they changed and they brought another sailor up and a different soldier, and we just had our own time to do these things,
Mm-hmm.
and I appreciated it because I felt I was contributing just getting overseas. Because every now and then you could see way enough distance, you could see a big ball of fire in the submarine that hit one of those ships.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and you hope it wasn't one of yours.
Well, no.
You know, but.
So you're in Scott. How long were you in Glasgow for?
Well, it took us about 17 days to get
Go
over.
right.
It only took me 4 days to get back. You know, after I got wounded in that,
Oh.
I came back on the Mauritania, Liberty,
Okay.
French liner.
Oh, on a French ship.
That was neat. We had placemats and everything, just like regular tourists.
Oh, so it was like a luxury liner.
Oh,
basically,
yeah, it was
especially
nice.
after you, yeah.
Yeah.
So you're in the United Kingdom, and I'm guessing you're probably there early 1944, somewhere around there. Now, did you have any practice jumps while you were
Oh, yeah.
while you were there?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And you probably did some other training and
Oh,
exercises.
yeah, constantly. You're always in training.
Now, with the Normandy invasion happened on June 6, 1944.
June 6th.
June 6th, correct. Now, before that, the 82nd and the 101st, and I believe the first division of the first British Airborne Division. I'm
Yeah, the
sorry.
Red Devils.
Right, exactly. They dropped the night before, correct? On
Yeah, they
June
dropped
5th.
that canal over there.
Right. Now, well, and I'm just talking about the 82nd, the 101st, and all of them dropped that night
Yeah.
before June 6th.
Yeah.
Now, where in Normandy were you dropped?
St. Marie Glace.
Now, did you get anywhere near where your drop zone was?
Well, we missed our DZ, but we were supposed to land at Carentan,
Mm-hmm.
but the guys were flying all over, stopping the guy getting hit.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they were flying their airplanes, and we were sitting in there. You know, and every now and then you could see stuff going through the fuselage.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and pretty soon the guy said, "You guys have to get ready to jump. We ain't got time to go any further." You know, he's avoiding too much ag.
Mm-hmm.
So
Anti-aircraft
Yeah.
fire.
yeah, they were shooting up at us. So,
Mhm.
so the guy went, then they leveled it out and kind of steadied it a little bit. We got up, hooked up on a static line and started checking you got to check the next guy's parachute in front of you. So you check it out, you know, like number 3 okay, number 4 okay, until you went all the way down the line. And then the guy the jump master gets ready, he says, "Come on guys, we got to go. We got a job to do." "Okay, let's go guys." So we all stood up, hooked up, and started naming everything off right down the line. And then the pilot says, "Okay, the light turned green and we gotta go. We got no time to sit around up here. You know, if you hesitate, the jump master will smack your fingers because you're supposed to put your hands on the outside of the fuselage, not on the inside.
Mm-hmm.
So you make sure you didn't want to get broken fingers just before you jump.
No.
So, as it was, we exited, parachute opened up, and the shooting was going on. It was dark down there, you couldn't see nothing. Didn't have a bomber's moon. A bomber's moon is usually real light from the moon. But this night it was dark. But you could see cows down there. And I wound up near a chicken coop in a farmer's yard. And I looked over and saw my buddy drop his hands. I knew he was sitting down. We lost a lot of men that day. They lost a lot of them on the beach, I know that.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so you land at night, and then you said somebody in your outfit was close by.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so what happened after that?
Well, I knew he was hit. So when we got
What do you mean? What do you mean he was hit?
You could tell he got hit from
Oh, okay.
the shooting numbers.
Okay, he didn't get hurt
No.
from the drop. He actually got hit with a bullet. Okay.
Oh yeah. And we landed. You got rid of your parachute. You got ready to make sure you got some of your buddies around you. You gathered up. We already had a meeting place, and when we got over there, we had almost squad. So we had enough for a combat team, and we just had to move our way out of there because there's too many Germans around there. So we got out of that area, and from where the drop, pretty soon we had enough to make a company. And we got together and took our job, what it was, cut off anything from inland to the beach, don't let nothing get down to the beach. No more troops down to the beach area. I don't know, but we did a lot of shooting, I know that. I couldn't tell who the hell I was shooting at.
Oh, were the Germans far away?
Oh, they weren't close like we're sitting here.
Well, no, I know that.
They're like about 100 yards or something. But they still are shooting at us.
Oh, they're shooting at you.
Oh yeah, so we're returning the fire.
Let me ask you, I know I'm kind of going back, when you were at Fort Benning and you're doing the special training, the paratrooper training, did they give you any other special training? You mentioned an engineer.
Yeah.
Where were you? Okay, explain that a little bit.
Well, first when I was in engineers, I learned about the C2 and R, that putty. You could put it on a wall and take a cap in there and blow a hole in the wall, and they call it
Explosives,
go from
right.
building to building, so you wouldn't have to go out there, snipers out there. So you'd have to go from building to building. You blow a hole in the next building and walk into the next building. Then you spray the bottom of the floor right near the windows in case there's somebody in the window area. And then you throw a hand grenade or two, and you hope to hell that if anybody was there, you got them. And then you continue to go from building until you had that whole block in your hands. And then, naturally the SEAL would come along. If he was still alive, you figure out what's going with the unit that was in there. And as it was, sometimes we lost men, sometimes we didn't. It's sad to lose somebody that you've known for a while,
Mm-hmm.
But you couldn't sit around and worry about it.
The invasion, well, you were dropped on June 5th or the morning of June 6th.
Yeah.
And so you had the Normandy campaign.
Which is called Overlord.
Operation Overlord. And you mentioned in your bio that you were wounded in December of 1944. Now, from June 6th to December 1944, can you tell us that? So you were in France,
Yeah.
and then you fought all the way through France, or
Into Germany.
into Germany?
I got knocked out of the war in the Black Forest, which is known as the Hurtgen Forest in Germany.
Mm-hmm.
And but I remember prior to that, when we were in England, I met the young lady, and I asked her for her phone number one time. She smiled, she gave me her phone number. I called it. It was Whitehall 1212. It was Scotland Yard. She gave me the phone number.
Oh, she gave you a
She's
phone
smart.
number.
And when I met her again, I told her that she was pretty clever. And she says, you Yanks who are think you can just do anything you like. I said, well, I didn't mean that. And I apologized. She said, oh, that's all right. I thought that'd be a good lesson. I said, it certainly was. I knew right where I was at. But she was nice. She worked on an aircraft on Weymouth, down to Weymouth. And she was one of the girls that worked
So you fought through France in
Belgium,
Luxembourg,
Germany.
and so the battle that you were wounded in, was this part of Battle of the Bulge or
just before.
just before?
Yeah.
Now, can you tell us a little? Can you tell us what happened when you were wounded?
We had a little farmhouse in the woods there. We had it controlled, and the Germans were coming through, and we had to stop them, but we didn't have any heavy weapons. All we had was rifles.
You didn't have any machine guns or anything?
No, we
like
didn't have
that?
any machine guns or rifles. And we did have a couple of bazookas, which you could use on tanks. You can knock off the threads, but you can knock those tanks out. Tiger tanks are huge,
Mhm.
and our tanks were no match for a Tiger tank. But as it was, we heard later that they were running short of ammunition, so they were using flamethrowers, for personnel. And when that flame came in there, I had a GI blanket, and I picked it up and I held it like this, and they got me here and half of my face, and the skin on the back of my hand is off my right thigh,
Mhm.
and it's long hair, like my hair on my legs. I used to sit and bite the hair off the back of my hand, and my wife, after I married, would get mad at me and say, "Don't keep doing that." She said, what are you doing that for? I said, "The hair is growing too long. I'm getting to look like an ape." But she said, "You shouldn't be ashamed of it." I said, "I'm not ashamed of it. It's just that it bothers me."
Mhm.
I put a glove on my hand. I used to wear the glove. You think Michael Jackson was first? I was wearing that glove before Michael Jackson was even born.
Indeed. So you're in describe a little bit more about this. You're in this farmhouse,
Yeah.
and was this during the day or at night?
It was day, and it was snowing like crazy. Snow must have been 5 up to my knees at
Mhm.
least. And it was snowing so heavy, and it was cold, real cold. Probably one of the coldest winters in Germany, I understood. Found out later on. But hey, it goes. I went out there, and, I had a bazooka, but I couldn't do nothing. And when it happened, I gave the bazooka a chuck, and I took my blanket because I could see these guys was using a flamethrower, and I put it up in front of me to protect myself.
How far away was he from you, approximately in
Oh.
yards?
Oh, maybe about 20, 30 feet, maybe.
Oh, so he was very close.
He was pretty close.
Mm-hmm.
And he let it go, I guess, and I just pulled it up quickly, and it hit my hand, not part of my face. And I fell in the snow. There's snow all around us. So I fell in there. And I guess somebody in my unit must have knocked the tank out or something, because that was the last of the tank.
Okay, was it a tank flamethrower,
Yeah.
or was it a soldier carrying a
No,
flamethrower?
no,
Oh, it was a
on the
tank. Okay,
Yeah.
so it was a tank that wasn't shooting shells, but a tank that was the actual flamethrower.
Yeah, like we
Okay.
had too.
Okay,
But, and
but the tank was knocked out.
Yeah,
is
it
what you're
must have.
saying.
Because that happened, and there was a medic looking over after me, and there was no tank around there. So the
Mhm.
guys must have knocked it out when he's backing up or something, I don't know. I didn't even ask, At that time, my face was burnt a little bit. My hand was burnt pretty good, this hand was burnt not as bad. But they didn't do my hand till I got back to the United States. They did it at Parma Heights, Ohio, in Crowell General, in Cleveland.
Now, when you were wounded, did they first you go to a field hospital, correct?
Well, yeah, I was there. They took me by jeep to Paris.
So let's go back a little bit. You get injured and then you go to the hospital in Paris.
Yeah.
How long are you in Paris for?
Oh, just probably only about 2 days.
And then where did you go?
And they took me from Paris back across the channel to England, and I was in Wrexham, Wales then.
Excuse me, you were?
Wrexham, Wales.
Oh yes, Wrexham, Wales.
town
Yes,
of Wrexham.
Wrexham. Wrexham.
Yeah.
Yes, it's right on the border
Yeah.
with the UK.
In fact, I got to Wrexham in England, in Wales, Christmas Eve.
Mhm.
They're like, December 24th. And I asked the nurse to write, a letter to my mom, let her know I'm okay, So she said, yeah. And then that's where it was. And before I could tell this little girl that I met in London, that I like to see her, they shipped me home. You know, I couldn't see her again. So I didn't see her after that.
And that's when you got on the French cruise liner?
Yeah, the Mauritania.
Mm-hmm. And and you said it didn't take very long
Well,
to
it
get
took
back
me
to the
about 4
States.
days to get home, but it took me about 17 days to get over.
Right.
Because we had to go over the ocean just to bypass all these submarines.
Mm-hmm. Now did you go to, where did you?
We landed in Glasgow, Scotland on the way over.
No, but on the way back, when you were wounded.
I went to New York,
Right.
and from New York, they sent me to a burn hospital in Cleveland,
Mm-hmm.
which was Parma Heights, Ohio. It was called the Corral General, and that's where I went.
How long were you there?
Oh, I was there for a while. They operated on this hand, but they took the meat off my legs to put on the back of my hand.
Mm-hmm.
And
Now, at the time, with your injuries, just to kind of get an idea of how severe they were you able to use your hand at the
no, I
time?
couldn't.
No, you
It was all
weren't.
wrinkled-
Okay.
It was all wrinkled up from
Okay.
the skin and all pulled up, and I couldn't close my hand. I couldn't do this,
Okay.
you know.
So obviously it was severe enough that they
It was
sent
necessary.
you back
It
home.
was deep enough where I had to put the skin so I could get some flexibility back in my hand. And it used to turn purple on me when it was cold, and that's why I got the glove. I didn't like that purple look on my hand.
Mm-hmm.
So, but hey,
Now, did you have mixed emotions about going home? I mean, because I know
I wanted to get home,
you wanted to get home.
but I felt I got getting home too quick. I wanted to also see the girl in London. You know, I got sweet on her, but it didn't matter because I was anxious to get home, and I didn't have a girlfriend or anything. I never wrote to a girl when I was in the service.
Did you write to your parents when you were in the service?
Who's
Your parents?
no?
Were you in the army when you didn't write back home?
Oh, I never got to leave.
No. What I meant was, did you write your mom and dad?
Yeah,
Did you write them letters?
I did.
Okay.
But my sister had to read them because they couldn't read English.
Okay.
And my dad even couldn't speak English.
Mhm.
If he wanted me to be quiet, he'd say, "Keep your mouth." I said, "Okay, Pa." You know, but he could never speak English properly. You know, but my
Right.
mother could speak a little bit better than he could.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's usually the case. I mean, with immigrants, it's usually the women who learn faster than the men. How long were you in the hospital in Cleveland for?
Oh, quite a while. Quite a while.
A few months.
My mother and sister came down to see me at Corral. And in fact, when a lot of guys were sitting around me, my sister showed up. The guys, "Is that your sister?" I said, "Yeah." They said, "Can we talk to her?" I said, "You can talk to anybody you want." You know.
Mm-hmm.
So they go and they talk to my sister. And I said to talk to my mother. I was speaking Romanian to her,
Mm-hmm.
you know. That's how my mother came from Detroit to Parma Heights, Ohio, because of my sister. Both my brothers were gone. The one was in a Marine, and the other one was working. My dad was working, so nobody could go home except my sister and my mother.
You were discharged in February 1946. When you were discharged, were your wounds mostly healed up?
Mostly by that time they were pretty well healed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, except that they were that purple looking. I didn't like that at all. You know, I looked down on my hand and it had a real purplish look. And that's when I put the glove on. I hadn't married my wife yet.
Okay. Well, after you were discharged, you went back home.
So I went back to
Okay.
home.
And what did you do when you got back home?
Well, I wanted to look for work,
Mm-hmm.
but I couldn't get a job. I worked in the gas station part-time for $1 an hour. You know, anywhere I could get a job. And then I signed up for the reserves.
Mm-hmm.
And they sent me to Camp McCoy, Wisconsin. But they sent me, at that time it was the 111th Airborne. It was just a new unit. They had started up. And I'd be going there as a cadre.
Mm-hmm. Did you go back to school?
No. No, I finished my school in a hospital with about 15 other guys. I asked if any of these guys knew English Lit. Some of them that did, I asked for their help, and they helped me with the English Lit. Composition 4, I didn't know that much about
So you
it.
finished high school in the hospital?
Yeah.
You didn't go back to Pershing?
I went back to graduate,
Oh, you went back to graduate.
and they told me to graduate in your uniform. And I went there and I put my uniform on, and there was a sailor there just going into the service, and I was just coming out. So
Mhm.
naturally, we got to talking and that. He's asked me a bunch of questions. I couldn't even answer half the question he wanted to know, because I wasn't in the Navy, you know. So I told him, you're gonna have to wait till you get over where you're going to find out what's going on, you know, because I can't tell you. But as it was kind of interesting to see this young kid. He must have been all about 17, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
And he's just going in. By this time, I must have been about 20 by now. I should have graduated with the class in 43 or 44. And here I am. These guys that were freshmen when I was in school are graduating. I'm graduating with them now. And it was nice. But I went to so many graduation parties that year. You know, because everybody wanted me to go to a graduation party. You know, I was a freshman too, and they were freshmen, so now they're graduating, and I'm already graduated.
Mm-hmm.
But I went around the best I could.
You worked at the gas station. Where else did you work?
And then I got a job at the Advanced Glove. It was a glove manufacturer, made work gloves. I worked there for.
What?
I was in Detroit.
What did you do there?
I was like a inventory control. I kept a big sheet of all the kind of gloves and how many were in each of them, how many gloves were in stock there. And as we ship them out, I would just delete that many off the list and change the number down to the next number. And when the boss man would come around and want to know how many cotton gloves you'd have, or this because list, I could look up and tell them exactly what you got in stock, you know. And that's how they control the shipments. And they had another factory in Rome, Georgia. And the truck driver would bring gloves up from Rome to Detroit to ship in Detroit area to the manufacturing. And that's what I did for a while. And then I left there and went to Fabricon. I got a job at Fabricon, working, putting these here. There were rolls of looked like bread wrapping in a wax paper,
Mm-hmm.
big rolls. I put them in machines where the girls are working. I take the rolls over finished, I take them off. And I worked there for a while. And then one day I was talking to somebody and he said, you know, Ford's building a factory in Woodhaven. He said they got a hiring place where the natural food market is on West Road. So I went over there and I filled out an application, gave it to them. And a couple of years later they called me, you want a job at Ford's? I said, yeah, I'll go there. So I got a job at Ford's there in 65 and I worked there till I retired.
What year did you retire?
91,
91.
yeah.
What did you do with the?
I was quality control at Ford's.
Mm-hmm.
I never did work on a line. I worked in quality control. But I started at Ford's as an oiler on midnights, and they had different bids out, you know, and I signed up to bid on a quality control job. And you have to take if I could read the maps and that, you know, and you had to find if you could do inboard and outboard, you know, and the different, and I could do it. And before I knew it, I was a quality controller, and I worked afternoons, and that was nice. And at that, I couldn't believe all the money I was making in the automobile factory. We were working 7 days a week, 10 hours a day, and compared to what I was doing, $1 an hour in a gas station, all of a sudden I'm getting like $190, $195 a week. You know, that was good money.
And you retired in 1991?
91 I retired.
What did you do after did you do anything after you retired?
No,
No?
I
Just
didn't.
kind of took it easy?
Pardon?
Just kind of took it easy after?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had about 25 years in areas, and I just retired.
Mm-hmm.
But then I had a video store. The wife and I got a video store. It was called the Video Den
Mm-hmm.
on West Road. No, it was Grange Road. That's what it was, Grange Road. It was in a shopping center in Grange Road called the Grange Road. Yeah, that's what it was.
How long did you have the video store for?
Oh, about 2 years.
2 years.
Yeah, and it got tough because they had these big video places, you know,
Like Blockbuster?
like what was that one the big one they had?
Well, it was Blockbuster Video, wasn't
Yeah,
it?
Blockbusters was over in Trenton, which is not too far from me, and it really,
Hurt your business.
oh yeah, it really hurt me. So as we were getting out of business, I decided to sell my movies. You know, selling them to guys, you know, at the Ford plant, and I got rid of a lot of them that I didn't want to sell,
Mm-hmm.
but I sold them just to get out of the business.
Right.
And I sold my glass case that was in front, you know, and everything that was in there, the best I could. And I decided I'll just go and stay home for a while.
Right. Did you or do you now belong to any veterans organizations?
Oh, yeah, American Legion,
Mm-hmm.
the one in Wyandotte,
Mhm.
on 4th Street there,
Mm-hmm.
you know, down in Bishop Park there.
Right.
I belong to that one. And I think I belong to the Purple Heart too. I don't know. But I know it's in money in the two different things. One is Legion that I belong to. I've been in that now for about 5 or 10 years. Purple Heart, I've only been in maybe about 5.
Mm-hmm.
But I did that because of the Purple Heart, you know.
Right. What year were you married?
Oh God,
Oh, that's okay. Where did you meet?
46.
46? Oh, okay. The same year you got discharged. Where did you meet your wife?
Well, I was in Toledo. I was coming home from the hospital, and they stopped in Toledo. And I was in Toledo, and I was sitting at the counter, and I looked over. I seen this young lady standing there. She just kissed her boyfriend goodbye.
Mm-hmm.
He was a Marine, and I looked over there. And boy, she had nice looking legs. She had even those stockings with a black line, and I thought that was pretty sharp. Me like a dumb fool. I go and I asked her, "Would you like a cup of coffee or donut?" Yeah, I didn't have any money, so she had to pay for it. But we got to be kind of close. And I went to meet her she worked at Western Union, you know, and she was transferred from Toledo to Michigan. And she was working at Western Union in Michigan. And they told her there's a soldier out there who wants to see you. So she came out, she thought it was me. So we got together later on. And hey, it's the way it goes. And we was coming back to Detroit, and she told the guy at the counter that I was bothering her. So he said, "Why don't you stand here, and when the train goes, you can go to your train." So she did that, but the thing is, we both on the same train. So she sat down, I sat next to her, and you look in the window, and the train is dark, and you can see a reflection.
Mm-hmm.
Every time she'd look in the window, I'd wink at her. Pretty soon she started laughing. She thought it was kind of silly, I did too, but I thought it was cute.
Mm-hmm.
And I made a fool of myself. But we got to know each other. And she was a figure skater. That's why she had nice legs. You know, she was gonna go on holiday on ice, but she married me instead. So that took her career away. And we had 67 years of married life.
How many children did you have?
4, 2 girls, 2 boys. But she passed away 2013. I guess she just couldn't take it any longer. She smoked and she had a bad case. It would really got her down.
Mm-hmm.
I tried to get her to stop smoking, but she wouldn't stop. She'd light a cigarette, put it down, and it would just sit there and smoke. It was bad.
How many grandchildren do you have?
I got Joey, Chris, Michael, Rachel. 4, I guess. And I got 5 great-grandchildren.
Mhm.
Yeah. In fact, you got the fifth one today, this morning.
Yeah, that's what your
Jacob.
daughter said.
That,
Well, congratulations.
that's Michael and Betsy's little boy.
Mhm.
So she delivered a little baby boy called Jacob. And my other granddaughter's got a little boy called Abel. So, I don't know about the names, but that's what they want, so
That's okay.
that's okay by me. I got nothing to do with that.
Let me ask you one final question, John.
What's that?
If there is anything you would like people to know about your experience in the military, or what is the most important thing that you learned in
Well,
the
I never
military?
regretted it, I'll tell you
Right.
that. But I don't think I'd do it again.
Why not?
I don't think it's a smart thing to do to be a paratrooper.
Would you have been something else?
I would have been something, but I don't know if I'd be a paratrooper again or not. The training is very difficult,
Mm-hmm.
you know. Everybody's training, no matter where you're at, is very difficult. You know, especially when you leave home where you don't have the discipline they do in the service. And that discipline is very strict. One time I was told, I went out of town, my CO would come by one day and he saw me in a bar. I was sitting there and he told me to go back to camp. I went back to camp, but it was like 2 days later, you know. So he court-martialed me for not following proper orders.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they didn't tell me to go right away, so I decided a couple days wouldn't hurt. So I went to another bar, which was stupid on my part.
Mm-hmm.
But being a kid, I didn't have many brains anyway. I was just doing what I like to do. And you can't do that in the service. You gotta do what you're told to do.
Mm-hmm.
That-
Do you remember what your punishment was?
Oh, I had company punishment. They put me in a weapons center. You know, and they put my squad to pull guard duty on a weapons center that I was in. My squad was pulling guard duty. So they gave me a lot of privileges I wouldn't have had they not done them. But as it goes, I learned.
Mm-hmm. Now, being a World War II veteran, did your experience make you feel that you were part of history, part of something larger than yourself?
I didn't figure that. But
Mhm.
the only time I thought about it was after I was in a hospital. What had gone by, then I thought, man, I must have been part of that big history, the Normandy invasion, the biggest invasion that ever took place in a war. You know, I thought I was part of that.
Mhm.
You know, which not many people can say that. You can look around, you know, probably half of the people you talk to have never ever experienced that. So,
Well, not even half would
you know,
have experienced
when you
it.
put yourself in harm's way, it's a big difference that's going on. And it's such a smell. Smell is terrible. In fact, when you're in part of these countries, even the cows and the horses that stink from being dead, laying there on the ground, you know, like a human being, they smell too when they're shot and they've been laying there for a while. And then that cordite from the guns, from the cannons and all, you can smell that. And you can hear the shells coming in on you. And if you know enough to hide, if you're in the woods, you go around the tree, and you get on the other side of the tree, wherever the shell's coming from. And if it goes by you, then you get on the other side of the tree. Because you got to be on the side of the tree that the shell don't explode. So if the shell's coming this way, then you stand on this side of the tree. If the shells are going over you, then you get on this side of the tree to make sure that the fragments would hit the tree. And you learn that. But these are things you find out real quick. You're either that or you're dead. You know. And I saw so much death. Unbelievable. And I felt so sorry for those guys coming on the beach. You know. Because when they hold me back, you know, you see arms and legs, torsos, laying all over the place. And you know, at one time, these were regular people. They're only parts now. You start thinking of all the dumb things that went on. All close calls. I almost shot myself with a Mauser rifle. I had captured a couple of Germans, and I took their rifles and I told them, sit on your hands, and I hit it against a tree, and I didn't realize that they had a bullet in the chamber. When I hit the rifle against the tree, the gun went off, right by me. And I thought, boy, you dumb. you could have shot yourself, you know. I didn't do that again. Whenever I got a German rifle, I wanted to break in half, I made sure I checked they had bolt action rifles. I made sure that there was no bullet in the chamber. So I wasn't going to shoot myself. I could have shot my buddy too, as far as that goes.
Was that the only time you had captured Germans, or?
Oh no, I had other ones that we had. In fact, when we were going through the hedgerows, like Simic and I were going through the hedgerows in Florence, and I seen bullets kicking up at our heels. So in the hedgerow somewhere farther down, there must have been a German gun down there. So we jumped in a ditch, and him and I took off about 3 or 4 shots in that area. And pretty soon there was no more shooting, so we figured it must have hit something, you know, because the shooting stopped. And Chuck got up to look, and I said, "What do you think?" He says, "I think we're okay." So I got up, nothing happened, walked over there, and both those guys were dead. The gunner was dead, and the guy evidently was his lookout, he was dead too. So we must have hit them both somehow. But we didn't see him. He was shot that way, but we didn't see him. But there was, especially on marching fire, it's kind of scary when you're walking toward a German position, you're just firing from the hip, you know, you're shooting to keep them down. But you don't know if they're going to stay down or they're going to jump up and take a pot shot at you. And a lot of these things went on, different parts. We learned, I got that there putty, like I told you. We must hold a lot of homes in France when we're going from building to building, because you didn't want to go outside, because you went outside there, it's snipers, German snipers. So you went inside the building from building to building, and then you would spray the bottom of the floor with bullets, and then you go up the stairway and see if there's anybody up there. Sometimes you'd kill a woman, you know, a French woman who's in love with a German soldier or something, they'd both be laying there dead. But that was all part of the war. And you hated to see that, but that happens. You know, the enemy, and they fraternized with the French, and this happens. They did the same thing to the Americans.
Now, you mentioned before we had started the interview that you had seen some Romanian soldiers. Since Romania was allied with Germany during World War II.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, we'd have captured some German soldiers. We found out they were Romanian conscript. They'd be sitting there talking. What they were talking about was making wallets and that. You know, maybe we can sell them later on. And I would answer him in Romanian, and the guy would look at me like he's dumbfounded. He didn't understand why I was talking to them. And I told him, "You speak Romanian?" "Yeah." He said, "Well, I can speak Romanian too." And then he said, "How come you're an American?" He says, "Everybody in America don't speak English. Some of them speak Polish, some are Russian, some are Jews, you know, all kinds." And they were surprised. But that's the way it was. And I got away with it. It scared the hell out of them because they thought maybe they had said something in Romanian that might cause them to get in trouble.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, no.
All right, John. Well, I want to thank you for talking to us today.
Well,
it's very interesting stories. And I want to thank you for our service to our country. I appreciate it very much. Thank you very much.
Oh, thank
Is there
you.
anything else you'd like to say?
I just hope these young kids that are getting into service now on volunteer basis will have the good luck that I did. And if they put them in some harm's way, to come back to whoever's loving them, let them know that they're all right, and pick up their life where they left off, just to go. That's a tough thing to do. It's hard to do.
Right.